Hello and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. So far we've taken back our ship. We've talked to everyone on the bridge, which was a lot of reading. Like a lot. I cannot imagine how much reading is going to be throughout the whole game overall. At least some of the characters seem to be talking, but some just completely silent. The only thing that is left here is just the map, but I assume this is how we travel to our new locations and all that. I've seen some elevators, so I think we're gonna go check that out first before we travel anywhere. I want to check every part of the ship, I guess, before we travel anywhere, right? So let's go check that out. Go to Lord Captain's quarters. I'll go portrait. It seems these weapons are some kind of maybe pre-order bonus or something. I don't want to use it, so we're just gonna leave it there. We'll play with whatever we find, I guess. I found an interesting data pad, I guess. The final transactions with the chassis are complete. The fiery reckoning is now fully equipped, I would imagine. The object has been loaded aboard with its containment intact and placed in the forebay to ensure maximum contact with the target. The object has been loaded aboard with its containment intact. Wait, what is that? Coordinates sent and received by the bridge. Target estimated time of arrival in the system. The fiery reckoning is crewed by a servitor. Something chances of the ship returning a minimal. What is this? Unfinished letter. His chagrin is irrelevant. Voigtvir's mistake cost me too much. Years of work, tremendous resources, all wasted. He has failed at what he was supposed to be irreproachable at. Uncovering spies, and this one was a senior officer. I'm not about to discard him. Kunrad has served me for too long for his removal to go painlessly for the Protectorate. Besides, he is no fool. He could not have seriously expected to become the next in the von Valencia's line when his skills and talents as Master of Whispers are so valuable. Let his disinheritance serve as a humiliating but instructive lesson from which he may yet learn. So he was supposed to be a next in line, and then Lady Captain decided that he shouldn't be because he's better at Master of Whispers, so he went all berserk. I wonder if that's why he was mad at her. I don't know if he wanted to become a rogue trader. What's this? Look at this pool. Would you like to take a bath, your lordship? Do I? I like how my med bag is still on me. Oh wait, what? Would they draw a painting of me? Looks like I'm just chilling. Interesting ship, man. The soothing water caresses your senses and your grateful muscles. Welcome to the chance to rest. A pleasant languor spreads through your body as you allow yourself a moment of quiet relaxation. You two get in here. I require company and pleasant conversation. Wait, what? I want to see someone from my retinue. Wow, what the hell? Relax and close your eyes. The tension slowly retreats as you bring yourself to complete stillness. Joint by joint, muscle by muscle, pore by pore, before long, you have surrendered the bastion of your body to the bliss of oblivion. Troubles, worries, loss, such things do not belong in this newly established dominion of tranquility. There are only the infinite waters of weightlessness, in which, stripped of all things superficial, the mind of Holt von Valencius drifts in silent bliss. It is a conscious mind. What fuels this consciousness? Oh wow. Like I said, we're going dogmatic, right? We're just gonna commit to it, whatever it is. Thoughts of his monumental duty to the Emperor. Such duty can only be fulfilled through service and death, for such is the price of humanity's victory in everlasting war. That's 3 dogmatic. The sacrifice of the many paves the way to a triumphant future for the Titan that is the protector of the Imperium. It is a heavy burden to be the ground beneath his feet, but it is glorious to serve such a righteous purpose in unity. Interesting. This moment of serenity soon fades. The body reclaims the mind, binding it once more to the familiar shell of flesh, sinew, and bone. Finish your ablutions. You feel revitalized. This was truly an experience worthy of the rogue trader. Sorry. Interesting. So I've got my own pool on my ship. Bizarre. We've been to captain's quarters. Let's go one by one. Voidship shrine. Oh, I gotta take the whole team with me. Oh. Let's talk to this guy, Confessor Albert. Confessor Albert, a plump, rosy-cheeked old man, is lighting candles, taking his time with each. Glints of fire dance on his heavy golden achille and in his sky-blue eyes as he addresses you, smiling. The Emperor protects your lordship. Are you here to pray, or have mundane matters brought you to me? There is an incredibly profound quality to his voice, and he speaks with mesmering timbre. Remind me what it is you do on my ship. I am the ship's confessor, your lordship. No vessel that abides by the Imperium's laws can sail the void without spiritual guide. Even a smaller-sized ship that does not have a member of the ecclesiarchy on board entrusts all matters of faith to a layperson, who is a staunch adherent of the creed. Rogue Trader's flagship, naturally, is expected to have a confessor who comes from a line of his reverend servants. I am such a one. I'm entrusted with caring for the reliquary chapel and the dynastic crypt. I also conduct liturgies, consecrate the ship's base, and strengthen the crew's hearts whenever a dark hour is upon us, lest any among them falter in the face of the horrors lurking in the darkness and fail in their duty. Tell me about the dynastic crypt, I guess? Every rogue trader takes care to maintain an appropriate place of repose on board their flagship. Their capital may change with the passing of centuries, but the vessel of the Emperor's anointed serves them for millennia. It is more than just a symbol of dynasty's authority. It is the source of its power. Their Lord Captain's seat in the void whence they reign over their many lands. The Von Valencia's crypt is where rogue traders and their most loyal servants are laid to rest. As the ship's confessor, I perform the rites of burial and remembrance for these honored dead. Adalbert lets out a heavy sigh. It never occurred to this old man that he might have to send Lady Theodora on her final journey, but all is the Emperor's will. I would like to find out more about this place. Adalbert smiles warmly at you. I could talk about the reliquary chapel for hours. Is this the only place of worship on the ship? Why no, there are multiple sancta on every deck, where your subjects pray fervently, and the clergy keeps a close watch on the firmness of their faith. This, on the other hand, he gestures around that glittering reliquary, is the holiest of holy places, where only the noblest among your servants are permitted to set foot. Iconoclast? I mean, sure, I want those on other decks to be able to partake of this exuberance as well. Adalbert's eyebrows arch upward. Truly a most generous and gracious gesture, your lordship. I will arrange for commoners who have distinguished themselves in their service to be allowed in here. An event like this will fill them with fervor, and they will pass down the memory of what they have seen to their offspring. I wonder if this has like long-lasting effects or anything. It's a giant ship with tons of people in it, right? Mutiny already happened. What if there's like many things like that will happen? But they will remember the fact that I allowed them to be here, for example. I don't know if that would be the case. Or is it just simply kind of like a flavor text, you know? Where does this collection of sacred relics come from? Every relic we have here was either arduously tracked down by your ancestors, captured in battle against the faithless, or received as a gift for glorious deeds. A show of loyalty to the Emperor that speaks for itself, does it not? He makes no effort to conceal his pride. For our part, we keep the precious relics intact and undisturbed as we conduct liturgies and perform rites. Initiate Zeke is especially diligent in his care for the relics. Though he is of common stock, he earned his position through dedication and piety. I have other questions. I will do my best to answer them. I would like to hear the Imperium's tenets from you. In a voice brimming with solemnity, Adalbert begins. Every man and woman has their place in the order he created, and this order must be followed and the will of one's superiors obeyed. Beware of witches, for they have been stained by the warp. Persecute mutants, for their perversions of the inhuman form, and hate the accursed Xenos. I wonder if he glanced at the Dira when he said, beware of the witches, for they have been stained by the warp. The Imperial Creed prescribes being wary of psychers, but the Imperium needs them. You are right. Without the astropaths, we are deaf and blind. There are many other psychers laboring for the good of humanity. That is their place within the Emperor's design, but only those among them who accept his light and have been authorized. Oh, Idira scoffs contemptuously. For once in your life, you could just admit that it doesn't take a tongue calloused from prayer to handle the warp's dangers. The Ecclesiarchy tells us to persecute mutants, but an exception was made for navigators. The Navis Nobilite are different from most humans, but their difference are a blessing. They are noble servants of the Imperium who help humanity expand its collective domain. Do you not see that as a higher purpose that pleases the Emperor? A rule for thee, but not for me, basically. Among the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Emperor is known as the Omnisire. They have their own form of worship. Do they truly share our beliefs? Most certainly. Different likenesses of the Emperor and ways of worshipping him can be found across the Imperium's worlds, but we all believe in the one. Come to think of it, my warrant entitles me to violate the Imperial Creed in many ways. I am not gonna say that. That will suffice for now. As your lordship wishes. You are positively beaming with joy. A priest like you is a rare sight. Adalbert laughs good naturally. A fair observation. Everyone knows that the clergy must maintain a stern appearance to inspire fear and awe in their flock. His mirth fades, giving way to a pensive gravitas. The truth is that my clan and I experience great hardship. I cannot explain how it is I am standing before you now, except by his will. How could one be anything but joyful knowing they were saved by the Emperor? What happened to your clan? I was scarcely more than a child when the malady struck our cabins. First would come the fever, then the unlucky victim would start retching blood. After that, they would melt away like a candle. What is going on with the world, man? Only the youngest survived, myself among them. He smiles feebly. But now my family is growing, and I'm grateful for each new life that replaces one lost. Still, your gentle manner may adversely affect your flock's faith. An accurate observation from a lord who knows the importance of a strong faith in his ship. On his ship. The gentleness you speak of is a skin deep. On the inside, my faith and spirit are pure adamantine. Decades instructing the crew in fighting the dangers of the void and the warp have required nothing less. My resolve in the face of the monstrous threats we face must always be 100-fold firmer than that of my flock. I have other topics to discuss. Did Lady Theodora come here often? Your predecessor always had due concern for the reliquary's maintenance and its needs, and under her rule, faith occupied its proper place on this ship. Adalbert gives you a diplomatic smile. Alright, so he wants me to maintain the same thing? What if I go full heretic route? I wonder if we fight him or something? Maybe that's why you bring a whole group to this level? People confess to you, did they not? I am interested to know the thoughts of some of my subjects. I am not doing that. I must take my leave. I'm gonna choose some of the dialogues, even if I'm missing out on some info. to kind of play out.
Let the faith guide my path to glory.
Even though, obviously, you know, knowing more would be more interesting.
Accomplished.
Wait, it said examine 80%. This one doesn't say that. And it said accomplished, so did it... I don't know if I got any XP for that, or is it just simply the info? What's this? Shrine. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at all the backgrounds. Dude, how big is this ship? It has even wings as well. Hey, the level design is very interesting. Offer a prayer. You recite a prayer, the one you remember best. It does nothing. Okay.
I need to look closer.
Or more rest inside the glass. The inscription of on the reliquary reads, "I am wrath, I am cleansing. Whosoever wields me walks in the footsteps of Furia." Interesting. And also we found a button. Oh.
Let us walk this path to the end. No suffering will make me forget his sacred words. Burn the heretic. Kill the mutant.
Look no further.
The other one stands there.
Blessed is Von Valencia's blood.
Sometimes you consult the appropriate treatise on Tactica Imperialis and weigh every step. Sometimes, though, you just fire your biggest cannon and save the day.
There are 5 buttons. Oh, I see the third one. Okay.
Heresy grows from idleness.
Oh, you reset it. Oh, you know what? It might be the order.
We are the spearhead of the Imperial.
So this one is 1.
My faith is my
Probably
shield.
2.
Look
Wait,
no
it
further.
has letters. Oh. Wait, I think I saw the... Yeah. Oh, I get it now. So, it just needs to spell Furia. Wait, but how am I gonna spell it with 4 people? Oh. Oh, that makes sense. Alright, so...
How may I serve the dynasty? I'm restless. The light of terror shines for us.
Yeah, I need the 5th companion. Can I push this guy to step on the button?
The Emperor protects.
Oh well. Alright, when we get the companion, we'll come back, I guess. Are there any other secrets, I wonder? See, this one is commence. Oh, commerce 75%.
I rise above hardships.
Oh, what do we get for that? Just a piece of info? Alright, let's go to the next level. Astropathic Chapel. Again, I need full crew. Oh, we can have 6. Okay, I see.
Ugh, they're staring at me with their burnt eyes like I'm a leper. I'm just passing through, all right? So you lots can calm down.
Okay. The music that's coming from this... Oh, look at this guy playing. Interesting. Their settings are very interesting, like very atmospheric. There's obviously a lot of exploration that I'm doing, you know, looking for every piece of loot that I can get. But I'm obviously cutting it out because, you know, going for every corner, checking for it is probably not going to be fun for the video. So there's got to be a lot of cuts, obviously. Cutting in between, and then if I find anything significant, I will make sure to mention it in the video. Things like that. Last beacon cannot be saved from the 13th storm. The lapsed father's beloved son will open his yearning maw. It's some kind of cutscene, so I can't do anything. Or can I? No. Oblivion is inevitable. After the boundless sunset comes the horrific sunrise, brought forth into a walking world from the womb. Oh! And he died. Oh yeah, they use like fuses, like batteries? And like nothing happened. Alright, let's talk to the musician, maybe? Zachary Weiss. Choir Master Zachary Weiss, a tall old man in a long green robe, stands motionless in front of a cogitator. The closer you approach, the clearer you can hear his continuous unintelligible whisper. You're about to call his name when he falls silent sharply and turns towards you. First, Lord Captain. A visit from the rogue trader is in order for us. Like other astropaths at the chapel, the choir master's eyes are bandaged over with the time-worn scrolls of sacred manuscripts. Nevertheless, you cannot shake the feeling that his otherworldly glowing gaze is studying you keenly. How can I be of use, your lordship? Ooh, that succeeded. Sanctioning is brutal procedure, one which robs every astropath of the gift of sight, but in return they gain a new kind of vision that allows them to see what ordinary people cannot. Remind me who you are. The wrinkled face and drooping corners of the mouth look focused yet courteous at the same time. My name is Zachary Weiss, your lordship. I am the choir master of the Astropathic Choir. I was posted to this ship soon after my soul-binding ritual on Holy Terra. You might say I have been serving House von Valencius all my life. How did you like serving under Lady Theodora? I served her for 2 decades and never knew another Lord Captain before your ascension. With her, I had been through. Choir Master falls silent as though briefly transported his mind to another place. A shadow of regret creeps onto his face. Many things. Lady Theodora had a good understanding of my significance within the overall mechanism of the ship's service. Poorly concealed irritation creeps into the expression of regret on his face, which however did not stop her from neglecting my warnings. I am confused, so how old are you? If my calculations are correct, having factored in our movements through the warp, then I turned 34 a month and a half ago. There's a pause. You can't quite yet decide if the old man in front of you is joking, but there is not a slightest hint of a smile on his face. Tell me about the Astropathic Choir. Of course, Lord Captain. Is there something specific would you like to know? What is this place? To us astropaths, this place is our cradle and our grave, Lord Captain. You are the conflux of every secret missive, every order of prime importance, every scheme being plotted behind the scenes. You are the place where each of your loyal astropaths is ready to lay down their lives for crumbs of information, if that is your wish. We receive and send messages. For hours, turning into days, we wander the dark depths of immaterium, carrying our voice through the warp's eternal night, bringing it to our comrades in some remote refuge, accepting the voices, signals, and missives of others into our own abode. Those are most often meant for you, your lordship, and at times they're meant for no one. Quantum mechanical drum, what device is this? Oh, this thing? It is a sacred compiler that helps us record, store, and to an extent unriddle messages. The astropaths first receive these messages in the form of modeled images, dictating what they see to the machine, which logs their every word. From the reels of the receiver on the ceiling, the machine recorded words and routed through lines under the floor into transcribers, and then the Thesaurus core. This core is the most important part of the mechanism, as it contains a vast catalog of various symbols and the methods of their interpretation. So some kind of deciphering device? Interesting way of doing this whole thing, right? Like, whoa, look at this thing. This compiler matches the images of in the message against its data and forwards the results to the central cogitator and myself so that I can begin the ritual of decoding. I know of no other choir that possesses so wise a mechanism, and I praise the God Emperor for its existence. However, while the compiler hastens the extraction of intelligible meaning from perplexing imagery, an astropath must still open their mind to interpretation, which is no less perilous than the rights of receiving or sending an astropathic message. Your machine knows the meaning of symbols. Why can't it decode the message itself? Regrettably for us all, your lordship, astropathic messages are not ciphered dispatches, but they are rather psychic imprints containing information. Only an astropath can read the entirety of something created through the medium of the warp. Furthermore, as messages pass through the materium, they might become distorted by malevolent intent. It falls to your servants alone to shield their mind with faith and separate the true meaning from the influence of the ruinous powers. Yeah, true actually. So if you wanted to hide certain information from me, you could. Why is his face twist into a bitter grimace? My duty is to shield you from the monstrous communications that filter through the warp. The screams of the Emperor's loyal servants, centuries dead by now. The nightmarish, maddening images of the Sea of Souls. The cursed symbols that cause astropaths to convulse in violent fits of frenzy. The messages from abominations in search of weak minds to devour. Concealing all of that from you is my duty. How does one become an astropath? We were all part of the Imperial tithe once, psychers delivered to Terra on the black ships, but only a few of the candidates had what it took to study astropathy. Fewer still successfully completed the grueling training to be eligible for soul binding, and almost none survived the initiation. Wow. Imagine going to uni, but if you didn't pass the exam, you die. He throws his head back. We were given the privilege to behold the Emperor's light, a light flawless and searing. A pious smile visits his lips. That changes you. It wounds you irreparably. It takes your eyesight, but in exchange, you commune with greatness. His presence in our souls fortifies them as we stand against malicious powers. After the ritual, an astropath is assigned their position. At this or that adeptus, an astropathic relay or a ship. More often than not, our first place of service is also our last. If something happens to your choir, where can I find new astropaths? The expression of his wrinkled face grows even more serious. It would be more on point to say when something happens. The Emperor's blessing protects us from the warp's various influences. However, there are horrors dwelling in the void, for which even this defense would be no obstacle, especially if one spends as much time in their company as we do. Damn, man. There is only one way to procure astropaths, and that is through Adeptus Administratum. Luck permitting, unattached astropaths from the sector will be posted to the ship. Ones who, for whatever reason, have lost their place of service. Failing that, the request will go to Terra and will have to wait a long time. Wait, so the ship is very important, right? The rogue traders are very important. If we lose the astropath, wouldn't it be the top priority for them to provide the new astropath and not wait like a long time? Right? With all the messages and all that? Probably would be the top priority of the Imperium. That said, there are other options. Blasphemous, forbidden options. The choir master grimaces. He likes to grimace a lot. Unsanctioned psychers. Unprotected and broken souls who seldom live past their first few seances. But even those would do, should the God Emperor put our souls through severe trials. And judging by how rabid the warp has been of late, by the number of the dead astropaths, those trials will be upon us sooner than our prayers could reach Terra. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, maybe she will replace them or something. She's an unsanctioned psyker, isn't it? I know a couple of places where you can get new astropaths. It grins maliciously. That's of course if you don't insist on them being all classy and proper like this fried-eyed bunch. Wow. Want to discuss other topics? I am listening carefully, Lord Captain. That odd noise inside the chapel. Does it not bother you? On the contrary, Lord Captain, it is a mental focusing technique used by our flagship choir, one that I invented myself. Oh, oops. This music was written by an astropath. What my charges and I hear in it is not what ordinary people hear. Its true depth and beauty cannot be fathomed without the Emperor's blessing. The music protects our minds from rudimentary thoughts, purifies and sharpens them, but above all else, it serves as a beacon of sorts amid the tumultuous sea of souls, and thread to lead us home from the deadly maze. I have witnessed the death of one of your astropaths. What happened? The choir master sighs and makes the signs of the Aquila. May the God Emperor rest his soul and protect him from the ruinous power's tenacious claws. That was the 5th one this month. Our younger voices cannot handle the warp storms, raging in the expanse, and end up losing their minds. He adds barely audibly, if they're lucky. Something is afoot on the other side of the mall, Lord Captain. Something infinitely sinister. Something disastrous. The scraps of mental images that reach us from the Imperium carry the mark of doom. The images emanating from there are like a beast baring its teeth. Ooh, something big is brewing. Big story, I like that. Hey, we succeeded again. You have heard accounts of disturbances in the warp affecting psychics, especially astropaths, who delve most deeply into the immaterium. But there have been more and more alarming stories of late. Something is raging in the warp. Something that poses a particular threat to those with psychic powers. Ooh, maybe I should have created a psychic power character. Seems interesting. We'll speak later, Choir Master. I have business to attend to. Oh wait, requires iconoclast follower. Isn't my tank iconoclast? I can't click it. Maybe he's not ready yet? We'll speak later. Goodbye, Your Lordship. The Choir Master follows you with his otherworldly glowing gaze as you leave and turns back to cogitating.
Let the faith guide my path to glory.
This device is crazy, and just look at it. So well done. Imposing. Sigma AR-87. Alright, let's talk to this guy. Protect us from the machine spirit's unrest, for without his gifts our sacrifices are fruitless. You can barely hear the voices of a young astropath, standing very still next to the bulky mechanism, his face frozen in a mask of despair. His anemic hands are pressed to his chest, clutching crumpled strips of thick paper. He hears you approach and composes himself. The engineer, his head lowered, does not so much as glance in your direction. With his hands folded underneath his robe, he makes a barely audible unpleasant sound, a prayer in technolingua. What is going on here? The sacred compiler is ailing, Your Lordship. A gloom has come over the machine spirits, and they are disrupting the mechanism's operation. The 12th row of the drum is now adding incorrect symbols. The man shows you a stack of papers, and you notice at once that the rows of squigglies in each line all end with the same glyph. You summon the servants of Omnissiah, but the machine spirits are none too eager to heed their prayers. The esteemed engineer is in a state of a tech prayer trance and hasn't moved from the spot for a day now. He shrinks his head into his shoulders timidly. I had the audacity to think the sacred compiler could be better helped by examining its parts, but who am I to question the secret knowledge of the Adeptus Mechanicus? Why such a trifle of an error? The young man exclaims in astonishment. Imagine a single extra character creeping its way into the coordinates of the warp jump and sending the flagship to the center of a star. Imagine the world disloyal becoming loyal, resulting in thousands of your faithful servants falling victim to treachery. Nothing is a trifle to an astropath. How did you let this happen? Forgive me, Lordship, but I do not know the answer. The astropath lowers his voice to a whisper, glancing at the praying engineer. I am afraid even Adeptus Mechanicus don't fully comprehend the workings of this mechanism. We're only knowledgeable of on the surface level machines. The receivers commit the messages to paper. The transcribers sort the mental imagery by semantic category and feed it to the thesaurus core. And then the sacred compiler supplements the messages with a list of symbols and their interpretations. However, the mechanism extends far deeper into the bowels of the ship. Therefore, I wouldn't even venture a guess at the possible source of this trouble. Let me see if there is any way I can help. Ooh, we'll get a quest. Been malfunctioning astropath and some need. Fix issues affecting the chapel's machinery.
With each step, I forge my destiny.
58%. What if we fail?
The duty prevails.
Oh, we did it? Easy.
I have proven myself yet again.
Okay, we've been very lucky with this stuff.
Accomplished. We shall reclaim what is rightfully ours. I rise above hardships. The duty prevails.
I don't know if there is more. Talk to the astropath. Okay, I think we did it. Your Lordship, the astropath smiles at you, the shy, awkward smile of someone unused to smiling. The sacred mechanism is working again, with no disruptions. With a trembling hand, the Psyker hands you a strip of paper with smooth rows of edged characters, this time containing no errors. The agency rises proudly to his feet and says in low Gothic, a language he clearly has not had much practice in. The sacred words and virtuous thoughts turn towards the machine god. I have been able to pacify this mechanism's wayward spirits. The Omnisire blesses. Wait, is he taking our credit? What a guy. I should rather say it was my efforts that helped make the machine operational. But it was because of the Emperor's will, right? How lucky we are that the venerable tech priest is so pious and wise. Interesting. I should rather say it was my efforts that helped the machine operational. Agency eyes you respectfully, but with their sincere and poorly concealed confusion. I recommend installing 2 incense-burning units in this compartment to prevent the spirit's continued anger. The unit Zacharias will be provided with a list of minor recommendations, 142 in total, for improvements to this compartment's maintenance. Failure to implement will result in sanctions on the part of Adeptus Mechanicus priesthood. I do like how they add this like a spiritual essence, I guess, to the machinery world. It's kind of interesting how they navigate the world. Receive decoded reports. Okay.
Let us walk this path to
I
the end.
needed to talk to him, right? Your Lordship, I have something for you. The choir master hands you a sheet of paper with uniform lines of machine etched into it. Thanks to your assistance in repairing the compiler, we have been able to interpret a most curious message. It contains a call sign that agents of the renegade Voidship used in their especially important reports. Okay. Could it be a message from Voidship? He was more likely to the intended recipient. When was the signal sent? I cannot say with certainty, Your Lordship. Following the repair work, I went through text that had defiled decoding before. This signal had lost its way in the bowels of the mechanism. It could be week old or years. What does the message say? Only a few words. Lilamed Odenathus 11th. The winds have ceased. It is done. Now Lilamed is Voidship's call sign for special reports, but the rest is a code we are unfamiliar with. That said, we know where to look for the truth, the Odenathus 11th system. I'll get to the bottom of that message. Ooh, I have no doubt, Your Lordship. Scout out the planet, the message Voidship was sent. Oh, interesting. Goodbye, Your Lordship. The choir master follows you with his otherworldly glowing gaze. Okay. Interesting.
We
all
are
right.
bound by the blood
We're
of
getting
masses.
a lot of quests and a lot of destinations to go to, looks like. I mean, I'm all for it. Alright, let's go next. Okay, we've been to the quarters. We've been to the shrine and the bridge, right? So, Sector Bionica. What is this they worship now? Dentist chair? The implantation throne is majestic in its antiquity. The metal bench surrounded by countless injectors, manipulators, and vid screens leaves no doubt as to its purpose. The very nature of this machine is designed to transform living bodies by fusing them with blessed iron. What? Even to the naked eye, it is clear that the machine is ailing, grievously so. The manipulator's segmented tubes hang limply, bleeding unguent, while the dusty lumens are only dimly illuminated. As the tech priests try to revive the relic, each swing of their censer is like a pendulum ticking down the moments until the throne's untimely demise. This is how they fix things? They just pray for it? Your Lordship, thank you for gracing the Sector Bionica with your presence. You're already acquainted with the Drive Master Zira Talar. It is she who has been tending to the ancient relic. She is here to convey the wretchedness of our present position. The tech priest slowly extends her mechadendrites, twisting them in an intricate gesture of greeting. Lord Captain, the blessed machine spirit that dwells within the throne is fading. I and many grieving tech priests have been performing unending sacraments of tech healing and prayers of operational benediction on the shrine. But even our devotions are merely staving off the inevitable. How is this ship operational when all they do is just wave some lanterns nearby? This throne is a creation of the Omnisire made centuries ago. Even before the unholy desecration of the relic, we were barely able to propitiate its ancient machine spirit to perform sacred augmentation procedures. Many litanies and operating protocols did not survive through the ages. Now, with the demise of the keepers of the implantation throne during the mutiny, they have been lost forever. The sacred machine must be saved at all costs. What makes this machine so important? It is unique, one of a kind. The tech priest's optical augments flash and surprising fervor creeps into her voice. In the Logis annals of the Adeptus Mechanicus, this throne is identified as a shrine capable of autonomous augmentation rituals. Its loss is unacceptable, and any condoning of it is sacrilege. Wait, there are people condoning the demise of the dentist chair? In addition, only the rogue trader of all persons authorized by the rogue trader may use it. It is an invaluable investment in your longevity and bodily integrity. Wait, is that a mechanic? Like, I can actually use it? Rogue trader? Like, I can modify myself? How were the relics damaged? The High Factotum clears his throat and grimaces. During the uprising, instigated by the rebellious Master of Whispers, the Sector Bionica was besieged. The janitors and Medicaid officers heroically defended the throne, but eventually the rebels broke through. Most of the defenders fell in the battle, and many machines were lost or damaged. Many were able to be restored, but the throne was particularly badly damaged. What sacraments can the throne perform? The shrine is capable of autonomously healing flesh and blessing it with augmentations under the supervision of the knowledgeable janitor. Complex procedures can be performed with unimaginable speed and precision, and stimulants administered in the required proportions and combinations. It is the true miracle of the Omnisire. And how do we save the throne? Only a servant of the machine god, endowed with the high rank of janitor extremis, versed in all the necessary rituals and learned in the mystical cadence of the motive force, can perform the reparative sacraments and reanimate this mechanism. The only place where one might find such a servant is on the cloistered station of Altar Templum Calixis X17. Damn. To the best of my knowledge, the cloister Mistress Talar is referring to is located in the Furibundus system. Its denizens are not well disposed to communicating with the laity, but I am willing to leverage every diplomatic connection I possess to gain an audience with the station's clergy. Dunrock, I'll rely on your connections. The Drive Master's Vox Grill emits a binheric area of thanks. Go to Forbundus system. The High Factotum adjusts his monocle with a satisfied look. I thank you for your favor, your lordship. Before you depart this Sector Bionica, I would also like to present to you Janitor Majoris Ferens and Vivisector Jays Martinax. They are currently performing an urgent procedure and therefore were unable to attend the inspection in person, but I am certain they will receive the rogue trader's visit as a great honor, if you will follow me. Interesting. Oh, what is going on? The smell of medical supplies and weak cries of pain fill the cold air. Two figures stand over an operating table. The patient lying upon it is bound in place and his head is soaked in blood. A woman in uniform is desperately trying to force her way to the table. Please help my son, in the name of the Golden Throne. I know you can. Gothic had endured so much. The lined face of the middle deck veteran is contorted with grief. Every word she speaks comes out in a long moan. Your Lordship, the Medicaid officer dressed in protective attire briefly looks away from the table to welcome you with a solemn address. Vivisector Jace Martinez, at your service. The rogue trader's visit is a momentous event for the Sector Bionica. Will you grant us the honor of observing the operation? The hunched tech priest on the opposite side of the table erupts in a furious binheric trill as he struggles to immobilize the thrashing and moaning patient. After a time, he likewise turns his metal-plated face to you. The life-form Janitor Majoris Ferenc welcomes the Lord Captain Holt von Valencius. I second my colleague's statement. Examine the patient? The man chained to the bed is missing the top part of his skull. The moist pink contents glisten in the lumen light. The patient is conscious. His eyes are open and his parched lips are constantly moving as he mumbles. The man's terrified gaze meets yours and he falls silent. How curious. It seems the rogue trader's presence is indeed influencing the patient's state of mind. Martinez looks back at you with interest. Whether it is manifestation of devout faith in his anointed, or a bizarre form of delusion, it can only be to our benefit. Whatever you're doing, your lordship, please continue. Your mother is here, Gothic, and she is very worried about you. Hold on for her. The patient's clouded gaze is locked on the woman's face, the corners of his parted lips stretching into the faint semblance of a smile. His mother stares back, almost without blinking. Make the sign of the Aquila. The throne of terror, blazing in his light, turning aside every evil. A quiet chant emanates from off to your side. Turning your gaze from the patient, you see Sister Argenta having made the sign of Aquila, raising a prayer to the God Emperor. The melodic voice is soothing and instills confidence. Through the bloody foam on his lips, the prostrate man whispers, God Emperor bless you, Lord Captain. Barely exhaling the words, he takes a deep, pure breath. A moment later, the two people leaning over the patient simultaneously raise their instruments. In a colorless voice, the tech priest proclaims, registering the complete stabilization of the life form's condition. Internal cortical damage has been treated, requesting closure of the cullet and transfer of the victim to B-class stimulants. He will live, but the stimulants won't replace that part of his brain. If we implant the sacred cortical augment in his skull, it will restore his lost ability to think and act. Lord Captain, please. Your subject has a genuine need for this augmentation. This constitutes a violation of the sacred directives. The value of an individual life form is incomparably less than the value of the sacred technology required. Wow! Augmentics of the specified class are rare and are restricted to senior officers. Thus dictate the regulations of the Sector Bionica. Who is this man? Oh, probably I'll have to decide which one we use, right? It is the thing, like I wonder, I just keep thinking about it because it's RPGs overall, right? Let's say I give him, let's say he's right? The augments are more important and expensive and maybe rare. And if he's just like a normal dude, we give it to him now, it's nice. But then later on, someone like more, I guess like more important, if you will need it and we'll just not have it because I already gave it away. I wonder if that's what they're doing with it. And well, we'll see how it goes. I guess we'll go with what we want. And then we'll go from there, right? An expendable life form to be utilized in void battles. One of thousands. Reminds me of like Dark Tide, right? A soldier from a Voidsman combat unit and devoted servant of the Emperor. Lord Captain, this young man has been fighting for his life, even through horrendous pain. If you allow the augmentation to be installed, his perseverance will become an example for others to emulate. Oh, okay. My only son, he's serving in a void unit. I was the one who told him to go there. My poor Gothic, grasps the woman from behind the Medicaid officers. How was he injured? In the last Void battle, Lord Captain, where he barely survived his injuries, he suffered a few healing attempts from charlatans on the lower decks and endured a long road to come here. However, no weapon can destroy the devotion and fortitude of true servant of the God Emperor. What are your respective proposals? I understand that my opinion may strike you as strange, for the mere fact that this poor soul has found his way to the Sector Bionica might itself be regarded as a blessing. Yet hear me out. The installation of the cortical augmentation will restore the patient to health, serving you as an example for the rest of us through his heroism. This will inspire the people and strengthen their faith in the Lord Captain, and let them know that the rogue trader's mercy will not abandon them in their hour of need. The life form of the operating table is easily replaceable and does not possess any substantial functional value. Therefore, installation of the implant would be devoid of sense, proposing replacement of lost function by means of Class B powder stimulants. The life form will have limited viability and will be gifted an optimal termination period with partial functionality. Wow. I've made my decision. The Medicaid officer and the tech priest exchanges glances. We're gonna fit the augment. I don't know. If anything, it might be more dogmatic, right? They will believe more. Fit the augment. We hear and obey, Lord Captain. Martinax offers you a graceful bow. I will see to the implantation at once, and the esteemed servant of the Omnisire will assist me in this procedure. The Janitor Majoris' response in... Is it binaric or binaric? I think it's binaric, right? In binaric, maybe? Carries a distinct tone of displeasure. Ignoring his colleague's reaction, the vivisector begins inserting thin augmentation spikes into the patient's brain with uncanny precision. Before long, the iron plate of the cortical implant replaces the damaged bone with a resounding crunch. Oof. In the silence, you hear the soft sobs of a woman. Notak's mother is weeping helplessly, furiously wiping her eyes with her hand, but now a smile of relief lights up her face. Thank you, your lordship. I will remember your intercession for the rest of my life and pray for your good fortune. Lovely. Is he a Robocop now? Oh. Oh, he's like a... Oh, he's put on the shelf? Okay. Interesting. Dude, this ship is massive. It has so many mechanics. Talk to Janitor Ferenc. The tech priest stares at you with a single visor. Amidst a tangle of metal and wires, the Voxcaster replacing his mouth hisses. Scanning life form. Visit registered. Welcome to the Sector Bionica, Lord Captain. You will be received by Janitor Majoris Ferenc. The tech priest turns and you suddenly realize that he was standing with his back to you. The front of his head is covered in blinking visors. With the highest priority, I notify the Lord Captain that the sacred archaeotech is still in an agonal state caused by the malicious actions of the rebels. The functionality of the Sector Bionica is limited. The life form, Janitor Majoris Ferenc, humbly awaits your assistance in purifying the reliquary mechanism. Why do you care so much about curing the throne's machine sickness? Deep bass carrying genuine reverence rumble in Ferenc's hiss. I'm inclined to conclude that the archaeotech augmentation machine harbors a spirit that blesses all things around it with grace of the Omnisire. The janitor sweeps a mechadendrite over the space around him. Its nodes and pistons are filled with the wisdom of the machine god, unfathomable to humble adepts, and if entropy consumes the spirit entirely, such wisdom will be lost. While the body of the machine remains in dysfunction, its spirit suffers from idleness. The motive force cannot nourish it, and its lenses remain blind. Litanies and rituals keep such an ancient creation of the Omnisire from fading away completely, but these are only palliative measures, and if the spirit abandons its receptacle, the Sector Bionica will fall into decay, for this relic serves the same function as the heart does in human life forms. Tell me about Sector Bionica. The Sector Bionica performs the repair and installation of sacred augments for those who demonstrate the most efficient service to the ship. What does Janitor Majoris do? Those bearing the rank of Janitor bestow blessings on the installation, consecration, and maintenance of the augments thus drawing the feeble bodies of humanity closer to maximum efficiency, pleasing the Omniscient. You work in tandem with the vivisector, don't you? I deem the results of your scan to be accurate. The vivisector performs the functions of preparing the carrier for installation of the maximum efficiency configuration. Who makes the final decisions during the procedures? The opinion of the vivisector lifeform carries the most weight. The request for a review of the chain of command has not been granted. I wish to know more about you. Given the inability to conduct a scan, I will respond to a limited set of inquiries. You and Martinax do not get along. Scanning response affirmative. The vivisector lifeform regrettably ignores the sacred requirements of efficiency in the service of the Omniscient, attributing it to rudimentary experiences. How did you come to serve in the Sector Bionica? I maximize the efficiency of the lifeforms serving within the sacred manufactorum on Kiava Gamma. By the blessing of the Omniscient, I ascended to janitor rank and was deployed to this flagship. My proficiency in installing augments was appraised and as an exceptional by the previous rogue trader. The tech priest of the Omniscient even allowed to work with living flesh. I thought you hold it in contempt. Flesh is weak, but its efficiency can be improved with blessed metal. According to the directives of the Omniscient, pivotal lifeforms, like pivotal mechanisms, must withstand maximum stress and produce the best results. My duty lies in improving them. Talk about something else. I must take my leave. Oh. A brief trill of farewell comes from the Vox. A janitor turns away, but his visor on the back of his head keeps watching you. Interesting. What a crazy place. Just look at that. Look what I found. Remote revitalizer. MK officer. Requires implantation thrown. So we can use that thing. Well, once we repair it, I guess. The range at which medkits and stimulants can be used is increased by +3. Oh, interesting. The negative effects, though. The use's weapon skill and ballistic skill are reduced by -5. If we can have like a dedicated medic, right? That would be nice. Let's talk to Vivisector Martinax. A tall wisp of a man hurriedly turns to you. He's wearing an apron covered with dark splotches and his thin arms are sheathed up to an elbow in medical gloves. Your lordship, I apologize for my appearance. The medical officer bows low. My name is Jace Martinax, and I serve as vivisector in the Sector Bionica. It is an untold honor to welcome you to our deck. First of all, allow me to express my gratitude for permitting me to place a cortical implant in the injured man. Thanks to your mercy, one more person has been able to continue his service to the God Emperor. The vivisector makes the sign of Aquila with his hands and bows to you again, even more deeply than before. Firstly, I must boldly warn you that until the relic that powers the Sector Bionica with the miraculous knowledge of the Omniscient is healed, to my deepest sorrow, the installation of sacred implants cannot be performed. All his florid speech, more typical of a noble than a chirurgeon, Martinax speaks with genuine sadness. Why is the implementation of the throne so important to you? It is probably a consequence of my years of practice among the janitors. The chirurgeon listens with genuine sadness to the lilting sounds of binary hymns sung by the technomats to keep the ancient machine alive. I learned much of the craft of healing from them, and after I found myself in the Sector Bionica, the machine spirit that inhabits this relic became my mentor. The artistry with which this machine joins flesh and sacred metal is so laborious and delicate that no human can replicate its efforts. Many medical officers here have accomplished great things in their practice, but these successes are only crude limitations of the healing sacraments performed by the throne of their patients. Its loss would rob the Sector Bionica of its soul, Lord Captain. We cannot allow that to happen. Interesting is like, I wouldn't say obsessed, but in reverence of that dentist chair. Tell me about the Sector Bionica. The Sector Bionica is a special part of the medical facility where we employ augments and implants to give life back to those who have been irreparably injured. We replace lost organs with consecrated technologies and offer the maimed the chance to serve the God Emperor once more. The sector's assistants and Medicaid officers report to me, while its tech priests report to Janitor Ferenc. Few vessels can boast a Medicaid concilium of such quality. What does Vivisector do? My primary task is to heal the flesh, Lord Captain. I oversee the processes involved in the workings of the body, and in the case of augments, how well they are joined to the flesh. You might say I make sure that the metal sacred to the Omnissiah becomes a true extension of the living body. The Carugian raises his chin proudly. You work in tandem with the genitive, don't you? That's right. Ferenc is in the business of coaxing machine spirits with the most sophisticated augments. Martinek's face twists into a strange expression. Who makes the final decision during procedures? I am in charge of the Sector Bionica. I do not mean to belittle the servants of the Adeptus Mechanicus in general, and certainly not Ferenc in particular, but they have much to learn from the Officio Medicae when it comes to healing. Martinek's voice sounds undeniably smug. Tell me about yourself. I am delighted to have earned your attention, gracious Lord Captain. What exactly do you wish to know? You and Ferenc do not get along. For a second, Martinek's impenetrably friendly tone cracks, and he sighs waspishly. Waspishly? Yes, Lord Captain. Sometimes we seriously disagree. Ferenc believes that replacing flesh with iron and receiving the blessing of the Omnissiah is the privilege of the few. I, on the other hand, make no distinction between the servants of the God Emperor. Every faithful soul deserves a chance to continue working for the glory of humanity. I'm afraid it's not always easy for Ferenc and I to find a compromise. How did you come to serve on the flagship? How did you become a vivisector? I come from a noble line on Janus. Family legend has it that my ancestors knew the secret of the planet's terraforming technology. I, on the other hand, have chosen the path that allows me to transform the person rather than the planet. Advanced terraforming in a way. Augmentation makes humanity stronger than any phenomenon in nature. Isn't that what the God Emperor wants us to be? Why did tech priests permit you to work alongside them? Augmatics are the preserve, are they not? An astute observation, Lord Captain. I am proud to tell you that I had the honor of serving alongside members of the Adeptus Mechanicus back on my home planet. Among the tech priests of Janus, there are entire divisions headed by Genitis. The knowledge of the Officio Medicae was essential during more complicated procedures, but the sacred remit of Genitis does not include tending to patients' mortal bodies. That is when an experienced Medicae must be brought into the ritual, and thus we found some common ground. I must stress that the esteemed Genitis do not permit me direct access to the machines, since none but they themselves are versed in the mysteries of operating them. My purview is limited to organic aspect. I must take my leave. Take care of yourself, Lord Captain. Alright.
The divine.
Looks like we explored everything, I think, at this point. Go back to the bridge. I believe we've done everything, right? Yeah. Alright, everything is done on the ship. We talked to everyone, explored everything, I believe. There's this secret with the Fury or something that I saw, but I need the 5th companion. Next time we come back, we're just gonna go to the Coronis map and explore it. See what we need to go. Do the quests. I'm actually excited. This felt like pretty much like a giant tutorial. So now we're ready to go explore. I'll see you in the next one, guys.